It's been just over 3 years since the release of Ghost's latest album, Impera, back in March of 2022. And all of that will change this Friday with the release of the band's highly anticipated new album, Skeleta. We've got 2 new singles out already from the band that have done well. The band also recently kicked off their Skeletour in support of this new album. Now, back when they released their last album, things were different for Ghost. They embarked on the Impera tour in support of that record. Of course, they had a different Papa leading the band, and in November of that year, something happened. The band filmed 2 special performances at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles for a film called Right Here, Right Now. And as part of that film, there were no phones allowed in the crowd. They used yonder pouches to lock up their phones for everyone in attendance at the show. And Tobias Forges said it really made him rethink things, and he said that they got feedback from a lot of the fans at the show saying they really enjoyed having their phones locked up. So he decided when it was time for the Skeletour to be announced that they would unveil that as a phone-free tour as well for the entire world tour, meaning that every fan in attendance would have to lock their phone up in a pouch when they come into the venue, and you would be limited in your ability to access your phone, meaning that if you wanted to even see your phone or check anything, you would need to leave the entire arena floor and walk out into one of the hallway areas near the bathroom, find someone who is authorized to unlock the pouches, and then from there you can check whatever you want on your phone, as opposed to pulling your phone out on the concert floor and accessing it there. It has been controversial, to say the least. There are a lot of people, myself included, I don't really see the point of having people in the crowd just to reduce the mild inconvenience of somebody filming a brief clip in front of you. But, I'm taller. There are people who are shorter that can't really see through the phones, and there are, of course, people at concerts, which I don't agree with, who just film the entire show. They're blocking people's view. They're inconsiderate. But, there's got to be some sort of a middle ground. If you pay the type of money that it costs to buy concert tickets, you should be able to spend your time how you want. And, even if you're at a music festival, it's not as if the people at these festivals are paying attention to every single band that's playing, and it's all pretty subjective, and the question is up in the air as to whether or not this is even going to work. But we're getting some word now about this first leg of the Skeletour, which there have apparently been some problems with fans getting into the show in a timely manner. It's been mentioned in the local news there, and fans have been really upset at a couple of the performances on social media due to these lengthy wait times that have been going on. There's questions as to whether or not this is related to the phones being locked into these pouches, and it's getting backed up, and it's taking a lot of time. Now, we also had this crazy recent situation with the actress who plays Sister Imperator speaking out after people were sending her pictures of basically a replica of her dead in a box when people are going into this VIP experience on the Ghost tour, and she said she had no idea. It was disturbing. She had no idea that it was going to be used in that way, and she's been speaking out about that. Now, in all fairness to Ghost, it seems like this is something that they would have gotten the approval to do. The band previously announced a Sister Imperator comic book that they were releasing, so it's kind of in line with that, and you've got the previous Papas lying there in that experience as well. So that was interesting. Not sure what's going to come of that, but you have this situation with multiple shows now having really long queue times, people saying the longest that they have seen at the venue. This is what's been going on at this kickoff of the Ghost tour, seemingly with these phone pouches delaying fans getting into at least one of the shows. There were first issues on the Ghost tour last week at Glasgow when fans said that the doors were delayed and it took them a very long time to be able to get into the venue, and also said there were issues with VIP. This fan said, "Can we talk about Glasgow being cursed? As Ghost was great, I had the best time, but what the Another fan said, "In my opinion, Glasgow VIP for Ghost was a mess. We were left in the VIP area with no information. The line was a shit show, and once inside, the amount of people pushing because they were screaming, 'I should be at the front, I'm number one.'" Joke, venue staff were babes, thank you. Things seemingly got worse last night when Ghost Tour stopped in Birmingham. According to NME, they said many took to X before the gig to report winding queues. as they tried to get into the venue. As was later reported by Birmingham Live, the lines went from the arena all the way towards the Library of Birmingham and up along the canal in the opposite direction as fans waited to have their bags searched. This fan wrote, "Holy shit, the queue to get into Ghost tonight reaches up to the Library of Birmingham, and as far as the eye can see in every direction, I have never seen anything like this before in my whole life of coming to gigs in town." And as Birmingham Live said, thousands line the canal and streets of Birmingham as locals never seen anything like it. They said, as part of the tour, the band had insisted that all mobile phones were locked away in pouches before entry to the arena was permitted. The rule was strict, with signs in the arena warning that anyone caught using a phone in the space would be ejected. It meant that queues snaked from the arena down towards the Library of Birmingham and in the opposite direction, up along the canal, waiting for their turn to have their bags searched and their handsets secured. But despite those lengthy waits for fans and delayed entries into the venue, for Tobias Forge, in an interview with Loudwire, he says that the experience of seeing no phones in the crowd was like traveling back in time. He said, "The face value of not seeing phones was literally like time travel. I'm not talking about like back to the 80s. I'm talking about maybe 10 years back when people were generally not filming as much, whereas now in modern times, it's just ridiculous." Now, despite those delays for fans getting into the show, Ghost did make sure to delay the start of the performance by a half an hour to make sure that all the fans could get there before the curtain dropped. Now, Tobias has even said he doesn't know exactly how this is all going to work out, whether or not it's going to cause the band to sell less tickets or if it's going to be something that a lot of fans have enjoyed. And there have been a lot of fans who have said that they've enjoyed it, but of course there's a lot of other people who are frustrated by it or don't know how it's going to work. And, you know, if you pay the type of prices for concert tickets, you should be able to do what you want, even if that means staring at your phone. But again, these are Ghost shows, and they can surely do what they want. Again, Skeleta is out this week. It's a big week for the band. Their new songs have been really good. I like the most recent single they did. It was kind of a throwback to the Meliora sound, much heavier and very much welcome there. So looking forward to hearing the rest of the record. Again, I've got the dates up on the screen. You can check this tour out from Ghost, taking off here in the U.S. in the very near future. And that is your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe and notifications on for the latest news and updates.